Hello and welcome to the Brick Cave Media Podcast. My name is Sharon Skinner. I'm the author of Blood from a Rose from Brick Cave Books. The Brick Cave Podcast is brought to you by the BC Book Club, Brick Cave Media's community portal for readers that love Brick Cave books and authors. You can join today and be part of the Brick Cave story at Brick Cave Media's new website, brickcave.media.
And my name is Bruce Davis. I'm the author of the forthcoming novel, Silver Magic, from Brick Cave Books. And we're here tonight in the Brick Cave studio, located in the Brick Cave office, here in beautiful downtown Mesa.
How are you, Bruce?
I'm good, Sharon.
Yeah.
I'm recovered from a very long weekend and doing well.
Yes, but see, when you have a long weekend, Bruce, it's not what people think. People think a long weekend is, oh, you went out and debauched. But that's not how that works.
No, I was there dealing with the debauched.
The debauched who went a little too far.
Too far,
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, let's see. The first thing I want to talk about is, we both have new books. I have a new book just out, the end of September.
Yes.
It's called Blood from a Rose, and we just did this cool new event that Brick Cave set up called Book and Brew over at Jared's Coffee, Tea, and Gallery in downtown Mesa.
I was actually there.
Yeah, you were. It was great to see
fun.
people come out. And I appreciate that you came out to support. That was awesome to see you. And you were still in the midst of that weekend.
Yes.
So it was a bit much. That was really above and beyond, Bruce. Above and beyond. So, so it was really cool because we had people buying books, and everybody who bought a book got a free drip coffee. And so, they could stay caffeinated while they read my book. That's pretty that was fun. That was fun. So, yeah. And, but we have an event coming up.
We will all be down at TusCon, the best little science fiction convention in the Southwest, down in Tucson the weekend of November 11th, doing a number of panels. I will be doing a presentation based more on my day job. What could go wrong? What ends you up in my trauma center? And it ain't the things you think. And then we'll both be doing several panels while we're down there, which should be a lot of fun. Yeah,
so I'm doing some talks on craft. So I've got a couple of good panels. I'm really kind of excited about characters, the good, the bad, and the unlikable. That'll be a lot of fun. And writing realistic women. So I'm doing both of those panels. And then I have another one, finding inspiration. So that's more about, how the motivation behind writing.
I'll be speaking with some good friends that I've known for a long time about how to read a scientific study. Is it breakthrough or BS? All of us are scientists of one stripe or another, so it should be an interesting conversation.
Yeah, so I noticed that we do have a panel that is opposite one another, but there are a couple that I'll actually be able to maybe pop in and listen to that you'll be presenting.
I will be there for you.
Fun. Yeah. So.
Whenever possible.
Yes.
What do we have opposing?
I forget which one it was, but there was one that looked like we were opposite.
Opposites.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, which is fine. They need to spread the talent around. I get it.
Well, but they should pay attention to who they're dealing with.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's it. Yes, we're kind of a big deal around here. Right?
We are. At least around the Brick Cave Media.
Yeah.
Office here.
Right? Or around this table
around
right
this
here.
Table,
where it's just
you
the
and
two
of us, yes.
So, do you want to do a reading update?
Well, go ahead. What have you been reading?
So I've been reading a bunch since we last met, but I want to focus on the stuff that's a little darker because, well, it's October and we're coming up on Halloween, which is, again, a great time for my book to come out because my book is dark. So I read Malice by Heather Walter, which is an interesting twist on the Sleeping Beauty fable. But it's very dark. It's told from a very different perspective, and it's basically told from the viewpoint of the wicked fairy and how she got to be who she was. But then there's a lot of twists and turns along the way. It's really, really different. I thought it was really well done. I thought it was really well written. So that would be Malice by Heather Walter. And then my more creepier stuff, I read a middle grade book called Small Spaces by Catherine Arden. And it was a really fun, creepy kid book. It had me a few times thinking, wow, this is really creepy. So my inner kid was a little creeped out. That was fun. I read Ghosts by Raina Telgemeier, and
I've seen that one.
That's a graphic novel.
Yeah.
And that one is not really creepy, but I thought it was appropriate because we have Dia de los Muertos coming up as well. And this is about more about the ancestral ghosts and visitation and Dia de los Muertos and what that celebrates. So that was a really good read. It was a fun cultural read for me because I got more information from another perspective about Dia de los Muertos. And then I read a fun picture book. So I've been kind of all over the map this month. I read The Festival of Bones by Luis San Vicente. And it's really adorable. I mean, the artwork, he did the artwork as well. So he's both the author and the illustrator. And this thing is just, I just want to hang this artwork all over my house. It's so fun. It's all the skeletons and with their sugar skulls and all that. It's just really fun. So those are the October reads that I wanted to bring up.
Well, I've been a little dark, not totally dark. I finally read the first in Sean McGuire's Wayward Children series. Now I'm blogging on the title. Every Heart a Doorway.
Oh, okay.
I found it slightly reminiscent of The House in the Cerulean Sea,
Oh.
in that it's a school for misfit children, blah, 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 but not as lighthearted. This is much darker and more, it's shonen. I mean, if you know, it's shonen.
Yeah.
It's what it is. It was fun. I enjoyed it. It was a little predictable, and I didn't enjoy it enough to want to devour the rest of the series. I'll probably read more in it, but it was an interesting read. It was fun.
Okay.
I picked up some old stuff. This is not new books. F. Paul Wilson's The Keep.
Oh, I remember that.
It's very creepy. Of course, Wilson is very creepy anyway. I read his entire Repairman Jack series, which ends on a very grim note. And The Keep is very Halloween-y.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I'm reading John Cannell, who's not a well-known author. He's written a series of books set in Munich in the first few months after the end of the Second World War. And his protagonist is a CID inspector, essentially a detective for the military police. Madness in the Ruins. And it's a serial killer book with very grim outlooks.
Serial killer right after the war. Yeah, that sounds pretty creepy. That's pretty dark.
It's very dark. And Cannell is a historian, so he gets a lot of his stuff straight. I had not realized quite how awful things were for Germans in the first year or so after the war, all over Germany.
Yeah.
And it makes Victorian England look like a pleasant place to be.
Yeah, I can only imagine. I have a friend who's working on a book about those Germans who were left behind the Russian lines right after the war, and that was pretty bad.
I can imagine that was maybe even worse. And we're talking, the Allied zone, and this is Munich. Yeah. It's, and it's quite interesting. I can quibble a little bit with some of the military stuff because it's a little cliched, but it's a solid detective story.
Well, good.
And so it's fun. And then my geeky self is reading The War on the Waters, Confederate and Union navies in the Civil War by one of my favorite historians, James McPherson. And it's good for geeks.
Good for geeks.
I don't know that anybody else would have the abiding interest that I have in this, but it's.
Are you reading that adjacent to what you're working on, or are you just
Some